the vice in charge of research and operation. The head of service in charge of that same faculty service. Faculty officer. The HOD in charge of theater arts, if I may be very correct. Performing and visual arts at the Faculty of Arts. Heads of departments here present, student leaders, lecturers, students, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. The Faculty of Laws and Political Science, again, is its real shoes that of showcasing its academic research, outreach prowess, and outreach prowess. Since this faculty was established or created in 2017, and effectively took on. It has been one of our greatest objectives, showcasing what the faculty can do. And in that process, partnering with public universities and institutions to enhance the aims and objectives for which the faculty was created, beyond just the academic objectives. And the relationship or the partnership with the King's College in London is just one of the smaller activities of partnering capabilities. The African Week, which we are celebrating, is part of the Africa Week at the King's College program, which is co-organized by the African Leadership Center, School of Global Affairs and African Research in the War Studies Department. It is an opportunity for the King's community to hear from African scholars, leaders and thinkers, as well as a chance to highlight the King's College London's collaboration with African universities and institutions. When is this collaboration between us and King's College? The aim of this week is to showcase the work of various departments in our faculty and the academic units that engage in research within our faculty. Showcase our outreach activities relating to Africa and facilitate the interaction between academics across the King's College faculties working on Africa and African policy events. The week will showcase quite a good number of projects and activities based on our connaissance beyond just law and political science. That is why art is deeply involved. And so you will not be surprised to see us inviting the HOD in charge of theater and visual arts to come and partake in this week with us. We showcase that law is not only about law, political science is not only about political science, but we can outreach in other domains which are not art. And I remember during the faculty week, I speech during the faculty weekend, I made it clear that beyond law and political science, we have other talents. It was just a choice that we made to be political scientists or jurists. That we have talents in fields of drama, sports, creative arts. And let me just use this opportunity to tell you that I wrote a piece, a film, when I was in third year in the university in 1990. And I had that old manuscript, in fact, there were two manuscripts. And over drinking, the HO in theater and visual arts, faculty of arts. I disclosed this project to him. He has taken over the project and is working it to do a film production. So it shows you that beyond my competence as a jurist, I have other abilities that I would like to share with my community that is already taking place. So the event during this week will focus on knowledge production, decoloniality and higher education in Africa, global blackness and intersection with policy, transnational solidarity, and discussion on Africa's response to the public health challenge that is urgently become a continent so fast, COVID-19 pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, Africa Week takes us out of our areas of comfort and projects us into another domain which we would like to discover, which we would like to showcase, which we would like to expose our talents there. And this is the domain of arts and other fields. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to declare this Africa Week from our own end open. And I wish you a very, very successful discussion and debate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Dean in the Faculty of Law and Political Science. We are going to listen to the director of African Leadership Center, Nairobi. Please call yourself Buea. I think she will be live with us from King's College, London.
Okay, thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure being here today. Thanks very much for having me. First of all, my thanks to our friends and partners at the University of Buea for organizing this excellent event. I think it's important for me to note that a key part of Africa Week is showcasing the work that's led by our partners that are based on the continent itself. And I think given the success of this established relationship we have with the University of Buea, it's an absolute joy to be here. This event speaks very centrally to this year's Africa Week theme, which is centering the arts and cultural production, implications for health, physical and social sciences and the humanities. And through Africa Week, what we're trying to do all through this period is respond to the central question: in what ways does centering cultural production in the arts reshape knowledge in relation to other disciplines? We're also wondering, what are the implications of interdisciplinary ways of knowing knowledge creation and its impact? So that interdisciplinary theme is very central to this. And here we have an excellent example of this effort, really, really on point here, where we're thinking about the importance of the creative arts and music to addressing long-standing shared concerns I think many of us have around African integration. And we can think of continental integration and how that has been at the heart of establishing an independent Africa. If we think back to the varying perspectives from the, sorry, I have an echo there, apologies. If we think back to the varying perspectives, sorry, bear with me. I don't know why that is. Okay, I'll carry on. Anyway, so if you think back to the varying perspectives from the Monrovia and Casablanca groups of the Organization of African Unity, we see the significance of all of this. We can consider how continental integration has been very important to the continent's trajectory on political freedom and liberation with the struggle for independence. We've also seen some success as well as challenges when we think of how integration has been very significant to addressing political peace and security concerns across time, even to some of the contemporary issues that we're dealing with today. We have also seen attention, of course, to an area that's of key interest to me, especially around economic development imperatives. From the establishment of the African Development Bank, it's really centered around thinking of the continental economy, as it were, and the place of Africa in the global economy as a result of that. We can think also, of course, the 1980 Lagos Plan of Action that was also really centering this logic of self-reliant development that's really thinking about Africa as an entirety. And then, of course, the most recent iteration of this that we're so excited about is also the African Continental Free Trade Area. So across time, we've seen the significance of continental integration. And so I am so excited to be here. And I very much look forward to seeing how my own perspectives on the journey of integration interact with the work that we're going to be presented with today. I hope many of you colleagues that are here witnessing this are also thinking about how some of the wonderful work we'll see today is intersecting with some of the thoughts, opinions, reflections, and examinations that you yourselves have carried out around the significance of continental integration to all of the work that we're doing. Let me end by saying I'm immensely grateful to the Dean of the Faculty of Law and Social Sciences. Thank you so much for opening this and for being here. I was so pleased with that. Of course, to our own long-standing collaborators, Professor Kevin Kiwer, who has been a stalwart partner for the ALC. It is marvelous to be able to be here and to see this event hosted there. And then, of course, I am so pleased and so proud, if I'm allowed to be, of Dr. Albert Mbiatem, who's, of course, a major collaborator of the ALCs, and dare I say, our alumnus. So I feel extra pride when I think of that. I'm also grateful to all, because I know they've worked with a whole host of colleagues whom I'm not able to name, but I know they've worked with a whole team there to bring this to life. So I extend my thanks and gratitude to all of you. I thank you very much for bringing this to life. And this is the first of these joint events, and I look forward to every year seeing something from these quarters that's really showcasing authentic equal partnerships between Kings and our core partners like the University of Buea. Thank you so much. I'm really, really excited to be here. Thank you.
Land of God, land of God, freedom, life, and joy, holy soul. Thine before, shall not be condemned forevermore.
Thank you very much for that. We are going to listen to Dr. Biato, who is going to give or present to us an overview of today and the African Center leadership. Dr. Biato is a lecturer in the Department of International Relations and Constitutional Matters of Law and Political Science. He is also a fellow lecturer at the African Center.
Thank you very much, everybody. We are pleased to have you here. I recognize the vision of the Dean of the Faculty of Law and Political Science, the Vice Dean of the Faculty of Law, Professor Kimen, from Taku, the Chair of the Visual Arts. We are so proud to have you here, the students, the postgraduate students, undergraduate students. It's our pleasure having you here. Today is a great event. It's not just educating African, the most important is actually consolidating the nexus between conflict resolution, regional integration, and art. That is fundamental. But today we are thinking beyond the box. We are not just talking about institutional integration from the perspective of figuring a custom union and a common market. But it's important that we look at our talent, our cultural capability to showcase what we can do. I think the theme of political science clearly stated that they are unique and that it's not only just medical rights skill. And we are looking forward to watch the film. And again, today we'll be looking at how we use our culture, our African culture, to influence space, to occupy space. Leadership is not about just the political sphere, but also leadership is about that strong youth agency. And today we have a kind of intergenerational collaboration where we have younger researchers, well-experienced researchers joining together to speak to the progress and the integration of the continent. We see a kind of diversity, and that's the kind of unity we want in Africa, because the African continent is not just about land. The African continent is not just about those from a particular region, but the African continent is the kind of diversity where we have a lot of Africa, a kind of another way, Southern Africa, we have White Africa, and so on. So we need to harness all those resources to build this particular regional dimension. And this regional dimension should only is from a top-bottom approach, but bottom-top approach. And most importantly, cross-cutting. The cross-cutting aspect is so important and fundamental when it comes to regional integration. And that's why today we are using art, we are using culture, painting, ceramics, to show what we can do. I was reading a document published by ALC, and we were told there that Nollywood, the film industry in Nigeria, has contributed in 2016 about 2.6% of GDP, and that is very, very important. So looking at that perspective and how we can contribute from a cultural perspective is important. Again, I will not end without actually highlighting how the cooperation between the African Leadership Center, King's College London, and the University of Buea, specifically the Faculty of Law and Political Science, have over the years evolved from very useful. We we highlight some of the key aspects. We had the African Leadership Center sponsoring some of our activities fellow, and today the fellow that is Dr. Esa Hoyi is the doctor today. That was the field we said. We've also hosted a King's College fellow at the University of Buea, specifically in our faculty, and he's called Dr. Daniel at King's College London, and he had a wonderful experience. When he goes to this college, what he says, I think he tells you that the University of Buea is kind of credible and valuable university across the world. But also, the African Leadership has been so instrumental to us because we've had one of our students, and that was last year, who was granted a 1-month scholarship at King's College London. And this year, today is a master student, and he shared our values and he also exchanged with, and so with the African Leadership Center, the University of Buea, King's College, Faculty of Law, Political Science, the future is so bright, and we have a lot of audience coming up. This is where we can, and ratings will begin to when we start presenting before I know the vice dean of research coming.
Thank you very much, Dr. Biaka. We are going to listen to the vice dean and campus of law and defense, vice dean of research, corporation as well. Professor you probably was daily about the background, the purpose.
All protocols is respected, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning. Are we not happy to be here? It's a matter of fact that we could explain to people the background, the relationship that investors will have in the African Leadership Center. And you know why we are here today. We should know that the African Leadership Center is a department in the King's College, London. Have you ever heard of King's College, London? It's a renowned university. And we are privileged to be the partner of the university. The renowned university. And the African Leadership Center is well known for its research activities. They are there to propagate African ideas, African values in the domain of peace, respect, peace, security, development, and gender. And we know that in our faculty, we do courses in relation to peace, security, gender, development. Two of us. We have students here, development, human rights and development. So they carry out everything that we study. And it's because of this that our university found necessary to have partnership with them. We signed a memorandum of understanding in 2015. Because students that were known to carry out research in all these vital domains, we decided to have a partnership with them. And that we're having partnership with other African-based universities. So we are one of them. And we have succeeded, or we have gained a lot from our partnership since 2015. Dr. Biaka rightly said that we have about 2 of our students whose research work was sponsored by them. They have scholarship. We have read that he is a fellow of the African Leadership Center. We have received lecturers from King's College who worked with us for about 6 months. So this partnership is out to help our university and the university. So you people should be aware, most of you are not aware of this relationship that we have with the African Leadership Center. If other students are benefit, why not you? So, and most of you are postgraduate students, they are carrying out research work. You should know that there is an opportunity that you have, and you have to exploit it. Is that okay? So we should also know that we are here today because of the African Week celebration. And this African Week celebration is to showcase our Africanness, our African values, our African ideas. So we are partnering with the African University Center to make the world know what Africans are able to do. This African Week is celebrated every year, but today we have decided to join them to celebrate it. This is the first time, and as years go by, we are going to do it every year in collaboration with the African Leadership Center. So, following the theme that we have, a more integrated Africa, we have used this theme to come up with some activities that we are going to have competition today. We decided to focus on painting and ceramic artwork. We asked students advertise all the faculty departments in the university that they should come up with their talents, their skills that portrays their values. And from there, we are going to have competition. And those who succeed, so we have to go home with surprises. In fact, next year, we are going to do something bigger. This is the first time that we are organizing this. So next year, we are going to do something bigger. And we bet on students that next time we have activities like this. Inform your friends, let them come, drag them. Most of you are not aware of this financial relationship that we have with African Leadership Center. So you should inform your friends. But next year, the whole will be more than what we have today. So I pray that we should be attentive, we should make use of any opportunity that we have. People who are interested in knowing more about African Leadership Center and the opportunities that they can have, our office at African to come there and tell more about it. I think we should have the opportunity to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. We are going to listen to the Director of the Center for Marriage and Education. we start with storage, right? We are variable, we move straight away into the next item. We are going to have a interchange generational So the students who are going to do the presentation of the work of art on the theme.
We are going to start with the first so that members of the height can see the demonstration. Okay.
While the stage being set for the presentation to begin, I just want to say a few things. Like our honorable team has said earlier, and I don't want to proceed without saying that we thank you very much, team, for the support that you have been giving the faculty, the interest that you have tried to generate in the domain of research and cooperation in the faculty, which to some extent were dormant until the creation of this faculty. Thank you very much, Mr. Dean. It's a real pleasure to work with you. And we are very confident that with you students taking that opportunity of having an administration that is there to create a space for you to solve like this one, you can benefit from the opportunities that the partnership between the Faculty of Laws and the University of Buea at large and King's College of London through its African Leadership Center actually offers by ensuring that develop the competencies in the areas of specialty that we have in the faculty and which match those in King's College in London. Now, concerning how we are going to evaluate the beautiful works that the students have presented to us, we in everything that we do, objectivity is key. And so we have an evaluation form that members of the jury, those acting as jurors in this exercise will use. The first thing that you will be evaluating is the interpretation and clarity of your theme. So when you explain what you're presenting to us, try to be as clear as possible so that you understand and see that the theme, a more integrated Africa is clearly reflected in the work that you have presented. The second item on that evaluation list is the quality of artistic composition and overall design based on the theme. So here we are focusing on the visual elements of the painting or the ceramic painting as the case may be. And we are also looking at the color, the use of color from texture or other items of the artwork design. And the last is that the juries will have an overall impression of your art. And specifically, they would ask themselves, does the artwork stand on its own as a complete and outstanding work of art? So these are the three criteria. The total is on 10, and for each, the jury member will just have to give you a mark depending on how many marks are awarded for that item. Like the first one, for instance, is it has up to 4 points. So if the jury circles 2, it means they have awarded you 2 marks there, and the corresponding description there is satisfactory. If they circle 4, which is described as very good, that will be your mark for that particular section. The same for the other 2 items. So at the end of it, a sum is going to be done for all of these, and then a total mark put in the column below. So we are going to then, for each candidate, so like the first person that's going on assign their work as a part, and so we are going to have, where we have code, we are going to put a part. And so all the documents for paper will be summed up and we'll have the average. So that at the end of it, nobody says this was you were cheated or something. We want to be as objective as possible. So there are 3 elements. So in addition to the aesthetic quality of your work, it is important that you convince when you are actually addressing issue 1, interpreting your work so that it is clarified to the members of the community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. We'll start right away with Mr. Epa to present to us his work and the jury to grade him based on his work and his presentation.
The Dean of the Faculty of Laws and Political Science, members of the jury, the Africa Leadership Center. It gives me great pleasure to present this work of mine to you all. I'm a student in the Faculty of Arts and was one of the students who received some scholarship from King's College in 2019, and I had the opportunity to study in London at King's College for 1 month. The work which I did, A More Integrated Africa, is a piece which tries to illustrate Africa within the context of its unity and diversity. Africa being one of the largest and most populated continents, having over 54 independent states with over 54 votes in the United Nations General Assembly, but it's been dealing with so much conflict. So by arts portrays Africa with a unique cultural and diversified context of a serene Africa based on the aspirations of the African Union. So taking a view on this, the portrait which I did, we have the African map, and within this African map, an integrated path, that is the transnational highway, taking Africa, that is somebody from the eastern part or the western part of Africa can freely move within Africa, either through roads. If you see on the picture, you have cars moving from this part of Africa and going north, and you have cargo ships, thereby drawing our attention that there is a connectivity with the African continental free trade area, in the sense that goods and services can freely move within Africa using roads. On the same arts, we have a plane which is moving into Africa, and at this end is moving out of Africa. which I forgot the name, but I intended it to be called African Airway. So it's an African play, it's owned by Africans, but it moves within Africa and it's called African Airway. And with the conflict that has been going on in Africa, we have this gun which has been twisted following it of one of the 14 aspirations of the African Union, which is silence the gun by 2020. So in a more integrated Africa, we want to see an Africa who without guns being in the wrong hands. So if there is guns, it should be in the right hands and it should be controlled and monitored. And we have also part of the transportation, we have the railway and train, which moves within Africa. On this path, we have two hands written. Originally, what I intended to do with the arts was that I was to color it, but since I did it on the carbon paper, I could not do it. If I did, it would spoil the painting. So the salutation goes with a black, written a white. That means in Africa, there should be no racial disagreement between the whites and the black. We all are one if we want a more integrated Africa. And we have also ships moving within Africa and going out for trade, but as a unified continent, it is owned by the African. So this is my own interpretation of a more integrated Africa in terms of diversity, in terms of culture, in terms of trade. Thank you very much.
Maybe the jury has some questions for him.
I don't think I'm part of the jury. Yes, I personally find the portrait of the drawings very interesting, well done. And it actually shows that integrated Africa from a trade perspective. So that one is very clear. What I regret a little bit about the drawing is that the cultural aspect is not properly represented, if not is absent. You don't really see the cultural aspect, which is one of our key identities in Africa, our culture. It's a key identity. And so trade, yes, shows how integrated we are, but the cultural aspect which you have clearly, in fact, in your oral description of the painting, or description of the painting, you have clearly mentioned the issue of culture. We don't see it coming out here. But I want to encourage you because it's a very, very nice painting, especially the aspect of silencing the guns, which is very is crucial in our present context being true that Africa is bedeviled with so many conflicts. After independence, there were conflicts. Prior to and after independence, there were conflicts. The conflicts seem to have ebbed, but there is a resurgence in the conflicts, and which are causing alarming impacts on integration efforts and integration. So it's a very interesting painting, and I want to congratulate you on this achievement. I think it needs a round of applause.
Thank you, Professor. Maybe the jury may have some questions to ask. Therefore, any question? Maybe.
I just wish to observe that, like the Lynn said, you're drawing. If you look at the theme of this celebration, a more integrated Africa, the drawing does not really match with what we are saying, we are trying to project as a theme for this year. But however, it's a good work. I want to encourage you to keep on and to encourage the other artists that in future, each time you are asked to present a work of art, always try to find out what the theme is and try to do your work in such a way that it doesn't deviate from the theme. Thank you.
Does not portray our African culture. African culture is not there. It's white man culture. All those things are white man culture. Portray our culture. We are here to portray showcase our culture, African values, African ideas.
Yes.
Besides that, painting and drawing is perfect. You do not follow. As the way you say white man and black man is that written, you should have painted black and.
Okay, Professor, with your permission, can we take some few questions from the audience?
Okay, thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity. And I want to appreciate you so much for the wonderful works that you have done, especially portraying the Africa that we want. But to the best of my knowledge, if I were to make a contribution, first of all, talking about an integrated Africa, we are talking about ourselves. We are talking about harmonizing and harnessing our resources to make the Africa we want, to make the Africa a better place for the Africans. Far from talking about the Western civilization and cultures. And if you could also try to portray how we can use our culture to push out the guns from the African society, to make the African Union Vision 2063 to come into play. It could also have added more value to your works. Maybe you had it at the back of your mind, but due to time constraint, you could not portray how culture, African culture can contribute in making the Africa that we want. I think Africa that we want, it means circulating and demarcating Africa for Africans. So that's just a bit of contribution that I have. Apart from that, you have done so much great work.
Okay, another contribution or probably a question.
Well, I want to look at it from the perspective. Your illustration is really a vision that can be incorporated to foster the African culture. That means that you have set the roadmap for a unified Africa. I will understand that somebody in Tanzania will have those only if I have the access to know what that person is. In a no conflict area, for example, if I want to go to Minji now, as you know that somebody in Minji is carrying bags on the bag, if only there are no guns. So, in my own view, I see that you are setting the roadmap for complete evaluation of the culture.
Okay, there are no, we will be the last for the talk.
Thank you, Mr. Epa. I appreciate your work. You made mention of the fact that saw something like a plane entering Africa and another plane leaving Africa. Now, my own observation, I instead see it as you are instead talking of
globalization and not African integration, because we are instead talking of Africa as in Africa. So anything leaving Africa is out of context. The next point is ship, the ship that you put out of Africa. I would have preferred that you actually draw your ship inside Africa, then you connect like something like a port, then you connect the ship with the train to show that they are actually landlocked countries in Africa. That those who have the privilege to be close to the seas or the ocean actually give access to those who do not have the access to the landlord countries that can actually benefit from those privileges. But when you put it out of Africa, it shows that maybe the ship instead interacts out of Africa, like it comes to Africa. But we are talking of Africa, like things working inside of Africa.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Steve. I just want to help resituate the candidate's painting. I may not have been in this mind, but we should not fail to see that it's all about integration. We are simply saying that it does not cover the full breadth of integration. And that's something which would have enhanced the integration from an African perspective, that is our culture, which is part of our identity. The Africa is the bedrock of humanity, isn't it? And so it should have been highlighted because of our culture. We are talking about the restitution of cultural goods that were stolen from Africa, because it's part of our identity. A continent that has contributed to the identity of other peoples. We're simply saying that identity should have been, that cultural identity should have been represented. But I think the candidate made a choice. That's what I want to learn. These are the critiques we are making. He made a choice. The theme is on a more integrated Africa. And he has chosen transport. Transport. Commercial relationships, partnerships within Africa as an arm of that integration. And I think it should not be downplayed. It should not be downplayed. To me, it's a very good thing. It is within the theme. We are simply saying that it could have been more, it could have been better if he integrated the cultural aspect. But he chose it is his right to choose some aspect which shows that integration. And I think he has successfully done so. And let me just start by saying that integration does not mean non-cooperation with other parts of the world. You cannot be an island in an integrated world. You cannot. Integration is to stand as a force in order to face other regions across the world. But without making you an island. That's not what integration means. Integration means you want to come together to strengthen your hold so that you can negotiate, you can compete with other areas of the world. It doesn't mean isolation. I'm not talking on behalf of the candidate. I'm talking on behalf of the state, which I very much appreciate. And if there is a way of influencing you. Anyway, that was just a joke. That was just a joke. That is to resituate the candidate's meeting. We can make of that criticism.
Okay. Thank you, Professor, for that. Please, shall we clap for take a seat, move straight to the next exhibition. We are going to get the next painting from Madame Shibi here. Present to us what you're going to say about.
Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Obishi Grace, an English law student from the Faculty of Law. So this is a very simple painting, very simple work. I think it's very explicit. My whole idea of this was see a more integrated Africa. And when we think of an integrated Africa, the first thing that comes into our minds Africa being united as one. And how can this be done? Through economic growth, through social growth, and through education. Through economic growth, this can be done through enhancing our trade, enhancing our marketing across Africa. Because we know that this is what build Africa, this is what will make us one, a common trade, a common African market. Through the social growth, this can be done through our culture. And when we talk about culture, what are the things that bring us as one, as Africans? We have our music, our art, like what I've done here. What is it? Through things, through our even our dancing. Dancing is part of our African culture, and these are things that bring us around and make us as one. And lastly, through education, through our education, this can be done through creating an awareness. Like this is also part of education. This is really making us aware of the benefits of an integrated Africa, bringing us one as uniting Africa. And under here you have these trees. I added this actually. I did not really plan on adding this to my work yet. It just came in when I was done. And my idea of this is still in line with economic growth. This is in line with agriculture. Agriculture as an aspect of economic growth in Africa. We are Africans, and not as Africans, agriculture is a very huge part of us as Africans. And these are the things that bring us as one. It enhances our African growth. Which is what I have. Thank you.
We are going to get probably two observations from members of Buea and then other two observations from Professor.
I'm not an expert in it. It's a very beautiful painting again from a young lady. Very beautiful painting. As she says, it's very simple, but very pregnant with meaning, which falls in line with the theme. What I would have just loved to see, not touching too much on your painting, is to put something like GDP on that graph, so that we really identify as an economic graph. Just put GDP somewhere up, so that integration, talking about integration, you're talking about the economy, must be economically revived, must be seeds of economic revival, as well as enhance our culture, enhance education, because without education, you cannot express yourself within an integrated world, whether it is from the standpoint of economic development, even social development, you cannot, if you are not educated, in the modern world, education is key. Agriculture, as you say, is part of us, and you said it was a belated entry. To me, it's very significant. Before we went into the oil industry, agriculture that's always been part of us. We grew up in agriculture, and it's shown that in Africa we can grow with agriculture. Cameroon before the 90s was almost solely dependent on the agricultural sector. Those of you who don't know the agri show, so-called agri show, it was just Cameroon was developing essentially on the basis of agriculture and not oil. The oil industry inputs came in later on. Of course, it does not help us because we have seen an economic nosedive depending on oil and abandoning our farms. And the crisis is not helping us when we are abandoning our farms. So again, the agricultural aspect, and then you could have just to enhance and borrow a bit about this issue of conflict. So I don't know how you do the representation here, but to show that because conflict again is central in Africa, it is what is holding us down in every respect. So in as much as we can talk about an integrated Africa, it should be an integrated Africa free from conflict, where there is peace and security. Without peace and security, we cannot harness all of those values that we are representing. So something to show that conflict is not good. When you draw a bond, then you cross it. I'm not a specialist.
Professor, I see you now.
Siri, the work is good. I'm so impressed. Something from English law. Congratulations. I want to find out from you that angle. That's what it is.
It's a graph. It's a graph.
No, that's not the graph.
Okay, it's this a graph. Unfortunately, I was not very explicit. This is a graph, and the margin here shows that the economic growth is increasing, like it's going higher, and that was like.
They did mention something concerning conflict. Should have explained their education. Like that. African countries to have conflict. It's getting people to be aware of peace. We need to stop conflict. Exactly. Because what we need is education. War does not solve anything. Exactly. For what? Exactly. I'm very impressed with that.
Okay, Professor, probably everyone has something to say.
Just two comments. First, the work is very good, and it falls in line with the theme. But I would have loved your plans to be green in color. Agriculture, agronomy is green revolution. And secondly, if you look at Africa from the past, the kind of agricultural practices we've had is not really helping us, even though your graph already projects that there is growth. If there was a possibility within those plans to make us read from a distance that it's a second generational agriculture that Africa should be practicing today. If all of us embark on it, then we'll do better. There will be possibility for growth, and it will help us to sell to the neighboring countries and will bring more integration. Okay?
We are going to take just two questions from let me start with the head of department for performing and visual art. It's not a question, it's a comment. I just wanted to say that the image, the background of the someone just mentioned about the plants. Plants are not so lively. Try to let your plants green. The background, yes, someone said about commercial conflict. I think if you knew why we use the red background, the fire burning. The red is an image of destruction. And the colors, the red is showing in the midst of all these, there's fire. You know, in Africa, many regions. Thank you.
my view of the work is that it's a missing part to me without want to draw. Africa, there's no Africa without African people. Economy or no economy. The land demarcated as Africa. If people are not there, it doesn't work. Economy involves people. So, like 2 or 3 persons included on the drawing that made it. Thank you.
Can we clap for our Thank you very much. We are going to look at the next presentation from Ken.
Good morning, members of the jury, representatives of King's College, and the audience. I'm called Anwar Desuluma. I am level 4 or year 4 student, medical student from the Faculty of Health Science. 2 weeks ago, I was given an invitation to submit a presentation for the African Week. So I had difficulties because I'm a medical student and political integration, politics and political integration is not my field work. So I had difficulties there. But with time, I spent 2 days pondering on what I was going to get out, what I could bring out, what aspects of integration should I make known? Was it social integration? Should it be for social integration? I was really excited to go into that field because of the AFCON, which was very exciting. Political integration and many more. So what I decided to think on was an expression of my feeling towards African integration and how it should be. And before having this thinking idea in mind, I watched certain documentaries concerning. I watched certain documentaries concerning Africa, slave trade and mantling. So this had encouraged me or inspired me to go into the integration of the people, the personal, a heart-to-heart integration of the people. So this is why I done this. Now, the reason why I took the scenario or the theme to a river point, a stream, is because first of all, water symbolizes purity, and there's also fire, which is glitter of bronze, which is signifying we need our land to be pure, or to be rid of hate, of killing, of man-hating. Here you also have people which constitutes Africa, which is not just a continent, but a continent composed of people. So we have people, black and white, from different, showing the racial diversity. You also have Muslims, and with the Muslims here you have those with hearts to signify the regional diversity, the religion, the diversity in religion. Now there is also we have national treasures like the sculpture of Africa and the small island of Madagascar. So I gave it a golden color because it's our personal treasure. Africa should consider the treasure. Now, you also have certain items here like the shield. I put away the guns and bring for the shield to inspire Africans, not to think
that the only way of resolving a conflict would be just using guns, but also that they also have to they could protect themselves without actually using guns. They could shield themselves from the devastating atmosphere. And which there are also flags here. The flags are simply representing the flags here, flags from the different segments of Africa, and each segment, that's the north, the south, the east, the west, and the central, represented here, at least 2 for each segment. Now, okay, so you also have a setting sun here. The setting sun is just to denote hope, because as Africans, we always hope for a new day, especially when the sun is setting. So we are hoping for a day when Africans would be, when Africa would be a very conducive place for us all. So in summary, conclusion, about the state that the AU shouldn't be considered simply as a separate body from the people. We are Africa, and unity involves each and every African. Africa should not only be looked at as a geographical entity on the globe, but Africa should be in the hearts of each and every person who identifies himself or herself as an African. The best kind of integration that reinforces any other kind of African integration is love, despite our numerous diversities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kirsten. I'm sorry to come in a bit late. Some other official duties for the university. When I see these colored paintings, this is the second one with colors. I like them for what they are worth. But I seem to think that there is a certain misconception in the way the colors have been represented. If you look at African flags, for instance, we see that the predominant colors in African flags is green, red, and yellow, or green, yellow, and red in some cases. I don't really know why, or I may not give my opinion as to who chose those colors, but there's a reason for that. If we go to religious circles, we discover that there is a lot of blue, white, green that is used. And our flags just seem to be the opposite. Now, the water, you represent water. Water is like bloody and reddish or brownish. I seem not to see hope to bathe with that water. And normally, I would say that if you want to do something like this, it's good to be able to Google. You look for the meaning of colors to represent, to use to represent your painting. That will also represent the theme of this celebration, the African celebration, a more integrated Africa. But the painting itself, it looks very good. And to show that we are integrated and growing to rather than a graph, is another way to show a graph that is methodology upwards. You could have put a star in the middle of that African map there. You could have put it, not even like the beam of the sun, you could have represented it like sort to show that Africa is shining. Africa is no longer a dark continent that we used to think of. Because my impression of your painting is that it is dark. It is dark, and it's still showing that
we are not yet fully come out of the dark ages. Because civilization started in Africa, but we have gone past that. Unfortunately, it was hijacked due to our inadvertent will to. And though Africans are black, the people you represented, there are two black also. The people is usually represented as a black image. Those guys is represented like someone with the white stuff. But I really appreciate this, and with the permission of the chair, I didn't know that our faculty students from our faculty, they can do all of this. And there is this genius and talents competition that used to be organized by the Ministry of Education, that we now have a University of Buea branch. The days ahead, we'll have a meeting. And this has inspired me and triggered some other ideas. Why not do this type of representation during our faculty? Because I kept on wondering that what can a law student really display, really show us an artistic piece of work? I kept on thinking, oh, mood court, probably because of the lawyer. I said, oh, let us do mood court. Even representing that mood court, drawing out the setting of the court in a proper way. We have that signboard in the Department of English Law, but putting it back in a very, very structured and proper painting that someone can even offer to buy. We should be thinking of that in our faculties, so that we also show other faculties that the students of the faculty of law and political science, they are not only talkatives who stand in the court and talk to cases, but also they also have other talents. So this particular event has really inspired me, and I want to appreciate the efforts of the Vice Dean in charge of research and operations of the faculty and the head of service, was the representatives of the King College, London. I thank you so much for bringing this inspiration. If we look at the background of the stage, it represents Africa, and you see there is blue there. Blue, it shows that there is peace. Green shows that there is growth. White shows that there is peace also. Light. That purity is purity, and then blue shows dominance also. So it is a good work. It is a good work. But if you reflect, see, this is our opinion. This is my opinion on what I am seeing. It does not necessarily mean that you should change to what you don't want it to look like. Just have to depend on your opinion too. Thank you so much. If this microphone is not taken and may talk for so long, let's listen to
I think it's again to reiterate what I said and which the time things and just reiterated. This competition shows different shades of talent. And I keep saying, during the faculty week, we made it clear, very clear in my speech that faculty of laws does not need laws and professional does not need most people as scientists, jurists, we talk law. We have other talents. It's just that we chose a particular line of activity or intellectual course. We choose a particular intellectual course. But we have, we have various talents. These students are just an exhibition of those talents. I want to congratulate the lady. And again, her drawing shows that each painter has a different way of projecting his or her own idea as to what an integrated Africa should be. Without necessarily going across all the different possible shades of integration. The culture that was missing in the first one, we see it coming up here. Issues that were absent in the second one, we see them coming up here. The lady who was talking about the absence of people, she's seeing them here. I think art is something that comes from within. It is only the author who can actually tell you what it is. Dr. Taku just mentioned that a lady, and you know, and this tells us a lot about artists, that sometimes they go into some kind of oblivion, some metaphysical world, that they do certain things and They don't seem to realize it, but it has meaning. The Dr. was talking about the red background. She did not see why, she did not probably draw her attention to why she chose red. But there is meaning behind the red, and only us, those of us here, or the audience, can interpret that. So that's how we look at these paintings. We are not saying that one painting is the best. It depends on how the painter, what feelings, inner feelings the painter had at that material point in time that he or she want to project, and he or she cannot possibly project across the world. He or she chooses a particular domain, focuses on, and beyond what he or she was thinking at the time, there are other issues there. So even the water, Dr. Ben said he doesn't feel that he will be able to bathe in that kind of water. But she's saying that water is life. But in Africa, we are losing that connotation of what life is. Because we keep on killing ourselves. And so it's like drinking from a dirty pool. I think that is what it means. The issue of presenting Africa in yellow, as she says, in terms of wealth, I think it is very, that because we are a wealthy continent, there is need for furtherance of our integration. We should rethink our integration. Otherwise, people will help us, people from outside will help disintegrate what we want our loot. The issue of trying to represent people in different is to show the diversity in Africa from the maps. She will not possibly put all the national flags, but the few shows that Africa has great diversity. She has explained the importance of fire. She has explained the importance of water. She has explained the diversity of water. Ben was talking about colors, that the people are too black. It means that he's saying that he's certain, but he's saying that he's certain. Look at this. Africa is made of black. Ben is black, it means that Ben is African. So it is, in fact, there is no way to represent the African, the true African. The true African is black. The true African is black, and real black. And it is not the Johnson kind of black. I think it's a good one.
Let me just add my point in what the previous speakers have said. The painting is good. I like it. Colorful. I like it. And it is pregnant with a lot of meaning. Dr. Ben talked of bloody water. It is okay. We're in war. Most African countries, they have war. Two of us. So, but she brought up a strong point that there is sun set up, which signifies hope. So we have crisis now. There is hope, which is good. I'm so impressed with that. Thank you.
Last comment.
Thank you very much. I'm a member of the jury. I've also spoken since. I think I want to congratulate all of you, all the previous presenters, and you also received the congratulations of Dr. Eka, Director of King's College, African Leadership Center, King's College, Shubai as well. They're doing their comment here that it's so far so good. They are very much impressed. So I will come up with my comment. This is, I'm not like that kind of expert. I mean, when she presented herself, what did you say? Where are you coming from? Health science. That's wonderful. I'm seeing a student, a medical student. I can imagine the workload, medical student. You have time to see, think beyond the box, out of the box, and come up with something like it. I think from the very beginning, she said it very clearly that the guns by the fire, they were set at place, and there is a need to go into action. And this is a human-centered presentation, human-centered approach to presentation. Mankind matters a lot. And that's what she's saying. And she emphasized on that.
And you see, they are in action. It's an action presentation that we need to resolve our differences. We need to, I think to me it's so cool. And we're talking of water, she's explaining her opinion of water, the thing has said it so clearly. Of course, when you are watching what is not clean in the water, and the water will not remain blue, the water will get maybe wet or dirty somehow. And again, that is the Africa in that bright color. I mean, she's just thinking like the Viking, because the Viking was talking about having something bright, and she has come with that golden color to tell us this is how we want to have Africa, having come together, work together from different regions of the continent. And you see somebody from Nigeria, Senegal, you go to Central Africa, you have Cameroon, the Democratic Republic of Congo, you go below, you have, I'm seeing Egypt there, I'm seeing Burkina Faso. That's wonderful. I don't want to continue, but it's a good work. And also those came before, they also did very good presentation.
Thank you very much. Maybe we'll move to the next presentation by Virginie.
Hello. All food respected, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Buea, and as you can see, my art is as basic as possible. So I was very interested in this competition because I felt my knowledge in geography was something. And when I see this map, it gives different meanings to me as a person. And I want to explain that, and I really hope that all of you see my vision as to when I see a map like this. Now, Africa has gone up very long way when it comes to, Africa has come a very long way when it comes to our integration, since our independence, or since different African states gained independence. You see that the African continent is made up of 4 different states, correct? And these 4 different states have different ideologies on how to govern their states, on how they should carry out their cultures and their religious backgrounds, which is different. So when it comes to the north part of the African continent, we have a little bit of Arab people. We go to the north, you see a little bit of white mix there. You come to this Africa, the central part of Africa, again, a diversity of people worshiping probably Muslims, and you have people who are Christians. And when I see a map like this, I feel like we're going a long way as Africa to integrate ourselves. Because this is not just 4 states. This is actually different states that have come together to make 6 different trade blocks, and can call them somehow political, somehow economic, somehow even social cultural. Because these states come together, as you can see, Mr. Dick, this is known as the Southern African Development Community. You have the Arab Maghreb region, or you call them the Union. You have the Eastern African Community, which is here. You have the ECOWAS, that's the map. These are different trade blocks that have come together to maybe integrate their identity, integrate their economy, their social and cultural aspects. And I see it as a way in which Africa has grown over the years. We don't just have different states coming to talk about their interests. Sometimes when there's a war or there's a crisis in the eastern part of Africa, you have ECOWAS coming out and saying, oh no, this is happening in Central Senegal. And the entire ECOWAS system, maybe they're shaking and they're what's happening, how can we stop conflicts? And when you have situations in Sudan, we see different zones, different countries come together, and they struggle as much as possible to solve that. So I believe when I see this map that Africa has gone a very long way to being 4 states, to integrating themselves as 6 blocks that can actually come together to solve their issues. Now, if you look in my drawing properly, you see the AU at the extreme edge. It is you see it is like the AU sign. You see there's a star. Most of us who are familiar with the AU logo, you see the sun and you see stars surrounding it. It's not a big hope, right? That not even though we have we are getting to this level. I still hope that at some point we will see an Africa without the national borders kind of limiting transportation or limiting integration between Semak and Sedak. We have that hope that at some point in time we are going to have Africa without this imaginary line dividing us, because these are just imaginary lines. Africa has always been a group of people who have a group of people with an identity that is unique to the entire world, a group of people with identity that would want to commune together. There is this community, the Ubuntu, like they talk about. It is this community among Africans that we all share. And I believe that without these imaginary lines, somehow there's hope in the future that we will come together without the xenophobic ideas, without the Maghreb region believing probably they are not associated to the Arab countries. We have an Africa without these imaginary borders, and we can integrate together. And that's why I see this as the reality of our integration now, and how in the future we can grow to make it something even more better and extreme as Africans become communing. So as well, there's this rhetoric about the African unity. This rhetoric is an ideology that makes us see the possibility of free trade in the whole of Africa, not only in the South region of the Equatorial region. You can see community and social interaction within the entire Africa, and not just generally in some sects in Africa. So that's basically what I see, and I believe when I look at a map like this. I hope my drawing is appealing to all of you. It might be basic, but to me it has a lot of meaning, and that's why I decided to present something. Thank you.
Any reaction?
Now you see again this the options, the candidate, an option the candidate adopts. She has adopted the geographical representation of economic integration, which means she has focused on economic integration using geographical clarification of that integration. That is her approach. So she doesn't have to use people there. She doesn't have to use flags. She doesn't have to use trains moving across or guns to show that guns should be stopped. Because within the African economic blocks, all those issues, regional, sub-regional blocks, all those issues are taken into consideration. Economic integration is about economic integration, but it's more political, it is social, it is financial, it is what have you. In fact, it goes across the board. It's about stopping the guns from the region, and then from a general perspective, you can achieve a holistic approach. So I think the drawing is simplistic, very simplistic, but very pregnant with meaning. So don't look at the colors, that it is mundane in terms of its color, but it's highly pregnant with meaning. She has used an intellectual, a very intellectual approach to painting by focusing on the geographical expression of what integration means. I think it's commendable. Again, congratulations.
Thank you very much, sir.
Let me start this way.
Thank you very much. I commend your effort. It's a good piece. I also commend your outstanding knowledge in expressing, the happens in Africa, activities, and so on and so forth. This is not actually a contradiction, it's another side of the picture, so don't take it in the hard feelings. You see, you've done very well, but I believe an artwork is the possibility to visualize something, to provide a visual picture that someone can interpret and in turn imagine what you intended to see. So I did not see your knowledge being transplanted into a visual artwork, just like your peers have done, giving a picture that, a passerby can look at it and say, oh, this is what this person is trying to say. So it is important that you try to visualize what you're saying in a portrait form, so it explains itself, you understand? It is very good from a geographical perspective. You've actually taught us geography.
So you're giving us another assignment to go and do the project at home. So it is actually a good piece, but please, next time, try to use the project format that will actually reflect the meaning of what you are trying to say.
Thank you.
Greetings to everyone here present and congratulations once more, Ms. Gini. Yes. In tandem with what the team and the last speaker just said, when I first also the project, I was really waiting for the presentation because when each time I look at it, I rather see the reasons why Africa has not been integrated. This project shows the representation of Africa from, I'll say, the perspective as defined through our colonial heritage. And it therefore purports that Africa is still subjected to neo-colonialism and neo-mercantilism. And those are aspects that are actually helping Africa to stay divided. If we should see the 2-year plan of the Free African Trade Zone, it's actually functioning as just in ECOWAS regions. Most of the regions are still trying to convince, or say, let's say, French states to accept it. And we see that even the AU, where is the AU more active? We said there are some economic zones that when it comes to AU activities, AU volunteerism, it's as if they are either not aware or not interested. And I think another impression which I noted down also is the vision of Africa as a country. I love the way you compare the explanation. From an integration perspective, very correct. The vision of Africa as a country is actually to eradicate this imaginary lines in Vision 2063. But however, again, in all the past work, I just want to make this comment generally. Madagascar, nobody has said anything about Madagascar because Madagascar is geographically and practically an island severed from the continent. And in integrating Africa, nobody has mentioned how they're going to involve Madagascar into it. So that's food for thought for the next person coming to explain that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your contribution to everything. If you remember so well, I said we have actually grown because it's not just Cameroon, it's not just South Africa, it's now these trade blocks that you see and these economic blocks that you see. So we have actually grown to that level where at least we can cooperate. So let's hope that at some point, this European start to talk about African Union or African unity can come together. And if you look at, I mean, it's not really true, if you look at like graph, you'll see that I dotted this part of the Southern African community where Madagascar is actually part of it. So it's not excluded, it's still African. So that's all I just have to say. I'm just saying that we are growing. It's not just Cameroon, it's not just Tunisia, it's not just Algeria. We have African countries at least coming together to say something or to solve each other's problems. So we're going somewhere.
I'm sorry if I'm being a talker, but I just want to, again, because this is part of it, shows that this is an artwork. We don't have somebody to say this is not an artwork. I want to go back to what my friend had please said. That it gives us homework to go back to visualize. But Fabrice, let me answer you by saying that is even the object of an artwork. As I said, a painter sometimes does not see elements of his own painting, and it's an audience that makes sense out of it. She has opted for an intellectual, a very theoretical painting, which means that you must be of a certain standard. Let me tell you, if you see Picasso's painting, a naked woman, for example, it may mean nothing to you, say, but why is this renowned painter just reproducing the image of a naked woman? Picasso has to come there and tell you what that nakedness is before you understand from his own perspective what the naked. Otherwise, you carry a false image. You just take the image of the naked woman and go with it. So I think she has done a very intellectual, that's an intellectual, which means here again she has eliminated an audience. She's working with a theoretical audience, an audience who knows about economic integration. And I say integration, economic integration across the world is about the economy. But it has gone beyond economy. Economy is just the key word, the catchword.
It is more political. It is more social. It is now about peace and security, if I'm not mistaken. It is, in fact, it englobes every other part of human development. She has opted for a very theoretical, very intellectual approach. It is food for thought. It is her painting is food for thought. That is my own thing. It looks so simple, but it's food for thought.
Yes, it says that Madagascar was seven, totally seven, totally from Africa. When I look at these paintings, if you look at the shape of Africa, it's like the shape of an old man's head. Yes, it's like the shape of an old man's head. And around Madagascar, there is supposed to be something like a mouth there, but you are not really presented it. That was supposed to be like the mouth kissing Madagascar. Yeah. And then the logo, African Union logo, I would have really loved that it should be in the middle of Africa to show that it is an attractive force that is bringing the country, the various economic communities together. You know, logos, they have a lot of meaning. So what we see them, we just think we're seeing. If you look, for example, Apple, it reflects Newton's state law of motion, the law of gravity. Understand? And somebody got inspired and he do that, and it's the law of force of gravity. When you look at the cardinal points that you've done there, it also does that. If you look at something like today, some people think that it is each. It is actually the customer and the manufacturer creating each for that. You understand? So for me, I would have loved that when we draw, it should not just be the exact African map as we see on the map. Sometimes you may lay emphasis on certain things. You put a small leaf around Madagascar, and this man is trying to kiss Madagascar. Madagascar is down. You get the point. You put that logo in the middle that Africa is a bright continent, and African Union should run it because actually there are actually forces that are actually fighting against the integration of Africa. I've seen that, and that is a very, very good piece. The work is basic, and it shows so that it is original to me. It shows that it is original, and you sat down and then you did it with your own bare hands. Oh, I'm not mistaken. It shows so. Yes, you said it was from a geographic knowledge in geography. So I want to appreciate that you may amend based on the comments that we're making for any one future presentation. Thank you so much.
We are going to move to the last presentation done by Mr. Mike.
All protocols respected, ladies and gentlemen, I am the Divine County Level 300 student of the Department of Performing and Visual Arts. With the opportunity today to present my artwork on the theme, a more integrated Africa. Well, still before the independence of Africa, many Africans have always had the dream and the intention to see Africa as one and integrated in every sense. We have people in history like Kwame Nkrumah and Gaddafi, who did a lot in their capacity to make sure Africa has at least some form of integration. Now, Africa has had integration in several aspects. For instance, like the economic domain, Africa has been integrated in the ECOWAS, the SEMAC region, and other economic regions. Africa has had integration in legal like under the other law, where several countries come together to make sure they have something in common. Now, when faced with this assignment of presenting an artwork on a more integrated Africa, truly speaking, it's not a very
come up with an idea that will really reflect an integrated Africa. But after days of thinking, I had my eureka moment, and I came up with this artwork. Now, first thing we should understand is the shape of the map of Africa is a universally accepted icon which everywhere represents Africa. You don't need to be told somebody is talking about Africa. Just by seeing the map of Africa, you know something is going on, something is talking about Africa. That's the first reason why I used the map of Africa as an icon to symbolize I'm talking about something African. Now, the second image we have here is the image of the hand. The hand is used severally to represent cooperation and integration. For instance, a handshake, hands held together, and now this hand to me represents African integration, a more African integration. And how is that so? Just as the fingers of the hand are interpreted to the palm to be a functional unit, so will a more integrated Africa be functional. And with a more functional Africa, if African states and societies integrate more, we'll have a hand to lift Africa up, to hold Africa in its hands. We'll have a hand to extend to the world with fair handshake. We'll have a hand to receive everything that has been taken from us. We'll have a hand to win it to the world, as here we are. So now, when we're talking about art, there are paintings, there are drawings, there are different forms of artwork. This is the 3-in-1 artwork. This is a sculpture, a collage, and a painting. The painting aspect of the work, if you say, what is a painting? This is actually a painting. By definition of painting, a painting is a compound made up of a pigment, a solvent, and the driver, the oil binder. Now, the binder here, the binder used to create this paint is white glue. The pigment to get this color is cement, and the solvent to make it spreadable is water. So now, you will still ask, where is the color in this painting? The color in this painting is gray. It's predominantly gray. Now, gray is the color achieved when you combine black and white. Now, white is the absence of color, whereas black is the combination of all colors. Now, a more integrated Africa, to me, means an integration where color is not the constituted aspect being considered. It is colorless. It should be colorless and void of any prejudices concerning color or race. Now, when you look on top of the color, on top of the gray color, you'll see another sheen, another thing on top of it makes it shine. That is transparent, that is varnish, is transparent. So a more integrated Africa should be transparent. Now, when it comes to the texture of the artwork, it is hard as cement. Meaning, a more integrated Africa will make Africa to be hard, to be strong, to be solid. This thing can resist water, can stay under the rain for 30 years and to stay the same. Now, when we go again into other aspects of the artwork, we see that there's really not much color in the artwork. But when you come closer, you realize that the Africa here and the hand and the other hand in Africa is covered in glitter. And if you, by chance, close most of these videos here, you actually see it glittering to show that a more integrated Africa will actually glitter because the multiplicity of cultures, the multiplicity of economies, the multiplicity of laws, all these things brought together under the same canopy. We are sure as Africans to glitter even in the darkest spaces. So thank you.
I will not talk much, but it's a summary of what I've been saying. An act of painting is what the painter decides it to be.
You can see this as a very dull meeting, but it turns out to be very pregnant with meaning. It's only after he tells you what he's indicating that it makes great sense out of it. So the physical presentation so far, Mr. Fabrice, may not be telling, but it will be very pregnant with meaning. And now the artist, that is a specialist. The specialist now has now told us what painting is all about. It's not about the flashiness of the painting, but it's about the pregnancy of the painting, what it carries as message. And sometimes, as I said, Picasso has to tell you why this one is naked in a simple picture, but what the nakedness signifies. He can talk about 2 hours. In fact, if you give him 40 minutes, he can go on explaining to you. See, even the choice is dull. But you can see when he explains, it has deep meaning. There are no many representations. It looks like a piece of mud that has been thrown on the wall. But you see, he can make sense out of it, and he has educated us, a lot of knowledge of what integration is all about. He's even gone to the domain of law, and art student has gone to the domain of law. I think this exercise shows how more integrated the Faculty of Laws and Political Science.
We are because of faculty. Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr. Zane. I've been discussing with Dr. Biaten for the past 2 weeks. He asked me to encourage my students to take part. I was at a point when we were a bit frustrated that the students were not actually coming from the Faculty of Arts. I had another proposal for him that if at the end of the day, we didn't have any students from the Faculty of Arts or from my department, I'll propose myself to be one of the jury. When I heard that one of my students was taking part, I didn't make that proposal. Thank God he didn't even ask me to be jury, I would have refused. So I'm happy I'm not part of the jury because one of my students is taking part so that there should be some neutrality. So, Dr. Biaten, thank you, really invite me to the jury now. I know he didn't talk about the integration of the arts and other fields. I want to say that there is a project which has been in my hands for the past 3 years. The project is called Media for Peace. We talk about a more integrated Africa without peace, we are wasting our time. I've taken that project right to the presidency, to the Prime Minister's office, to the Ministry of Culture. Spent 1 week in Yaoundé to see the Prime Minister on it. And when I finally met the Secretary, he asked, what is the project all about? And I said, I used the context in Cameroon. We are talking about national integration, we're talking about decentralization, we're talking about local council development and so on. All this talk is being understood only by those in Douala, Buea, Yaoundé, and the educated class. The person in Buea, the person in Buea is not getting this news in English and French. Nobody. So I told him there is a bridge. We cannot talk of peace if we don't communicate. And so I came out with this concept of using plays, paintings, documentaries, movies, cartoons, to see if we can get all this message of national dialogue, national integration, so that the person in Mali and the forum, we can act in their language, we can represent all these aspects in their language, through a movie, maybe use some of the people, the local people to act, so that we can pass and this communication which you're talking and trying, as I said, counter dialogue. We are not communicating to the rural masses, and what they get from the social media, from those who can penetrate them from abroad, is what they get. And so this brought me to the point where I've just proposed a short course on media and peace. And in the press meeting, I'll be extending this short course to the Faculty of Laws and Political Science and Journalism. And we'll be surprised that peace can be expressed, the virtues of peace can be expressed in art, in movies. I want to assure the team that the film project I'm working on will be adapted in these values. I think art has a lot to play in not only the integration of Africa, but peace and resolution of conflict. Thank you. Any addition to what the says or
Congratulations. I'm so impressed with the presentations. The painting is wonderful.
I'm very impressed with the painting and with what we've seen today. And I particularly want to just join the head of department to say that it would be perhaps interesting for him to know that some of us here use art as a medium of research. Professor Sonnen knows we've used art paintings to collect data. So one of the ways that we can collect data, especially data from people that are vulnerable or who have difficulties in expressing themselves in the language that perhaps as the researcher we can use best, is to use art. And we have used this in our research. I happen to also double in my other life as a painter and a sculptor. So I very much agree with what you said, and we look forward to the opportunity for more collaboration with your department, because I'm very sure that many of our colleagues and students in law and political science are going to realize that there's another tool that can help them in their research, another technique of collecting data that can help them in their research. Thank you.
Let me get to the right stage. I thought I would not say something again, but in fact, this artwork has captivated me so much that I would like to touch it. You see, it depicts what Africa really is. You have the mountains, and in his presentation, you have the mountain, you have the rocks, and all that. And that is how strong Africa is. Africa should never be regarded as a big continent. Durability, you can stay 30 years under the rain and nothing will happen. What you will do in your presentation is that it is actually a 3D presentation.
Thank you.
That I can touch and feel. That's why I actually moved forward and with the presentation, I touched your work. And the glittering, you see, it is like this woman's stone. You see, woman's stone, what they use to run bicycles at home. See, it is just like woman's stone, and that is how strong we are as Africans. And with the hand, it is like the hand of God, stamped and sealed. So I want to congratulate you exceptionally for this, not influencing the decision. Just and we have to encourage them. So I rest my case there, and I want to congratulate you once more for the beautiful artwork. I don't know if we can buy it, and I would like to have that. Yeah, just want on something very simple. There's no one is buying it. It is part of our cultural heritage in the Faculty of Laws and Political Science, which
we shall be showcasing in the next in the upcoming faculty week 2022. We show our power of integratedness. Integration, he clearly said integration means extending a hand. To strengthen your integration, you have to extend your hand because you cannot tie a bundle with one hand. If you want to be very strong as an integrated group, you must borrow values from elsewhere. That's why we have to borrow values from the Faculty of Arts. That is our power of partnering, our power of integration. Mr. Ben, you want to be so.
Thank you very much, Professor. Please, can we give a hand of applause for all of you? We are going to go into another item, which is the award of prizes for the best works, which is done by the team. But we will take a very short musical interview so that the juries can conclude with their calculations before the team comes out to present the award to our awardees. Can we clap again for the team?
Thank you very much, moderator. When something is done very smoothly, when there is no what we call it, we don't take time to calculate. So our results are ready. The only thing, since it's already announced the musical interview, that we are going to do is that we are going to give this to somebody else who has not been part of this to classify them in that order, and then that same person is going to read the order of merit for the prizes to be awarded after the musical interview.
Any music for us to relax before we get the award presented to the awardees. Subsequent editions.
All right. Good day, everybody. I am Steve Taco from the Faculty of Arts, Department of Performing and Visual Arts. Yeah, so I'm a flutist. I do the art of the flute. I sing, I interpret songs using my flute, any song. So now the theme is about a more integrated Africa. So today, I'm not going to be doing my normal Afro-pop beats that I usually do, but I'm going to use the Afro beats now, and you are going to present taking some songs from South Africa, West Africa, Central Africa, and Cameroon. So I hope that as I do it, you guys are going to be able to identify where the songs are coming from within Africa. Okay, so please, I would like to kindly help someone to hold my mic. Okay, so that's from the South Africa. Okay, so now this is going to be taken from Central Africa.
to West Africa. Okay, so now let me round up with Cameroon. Africa. Please, that is all. I integrated. Okay, the head of department said that's a special request. This is a special request from the head of department, please.
Please, can we clap again, please? This is an integrated faculty of laws and political science and faculty of law. Faculty of arts, sorry. You see the integration, right? Law, political science, and arts. So we are moving to integration. We are receiving messages from attention, especially from Dr. Eka from King's College London, and saying really amazing. It's amazing. And take congratulations to the artists and the other previous artists. It's so amazing, and they are very much amazing. That is, we are becoming so globalized and international. Strongly African. Thank you. We are going to the last phase of this beautiful, enjoyable moment of the party. This last phase is will be moderated by the team. The dean will present the first prize by the dean, the second prize by the vice dean, Professor Sonefishen, and then the third prize by the vice dean, sir, Dr. Ekunzi Benvolo. But before they go to the prize award, probably the dean should say something about the prizes before he hands the first prize to the award.
Perhaps I would just want to say that there is no winner here, there is no loser. The artists have just been wonderful. In fact, to me, any classification would just be for convenience. Each shade of presentation, each shade of artistic presentation had its merits based on the internal visualization of the artists, which sometimes goes beyond our own appreciation. No work of art can receive sufficient appreciation. If you bring a group of specialists here, not us, they'll give you a different interpretation of different artistic presentations. So at best, what we're doing is just because we want to have a first, second, and third. But I want to say that Madam Vice Dean, in charge of research and cooperation, Professor Kiben, and Dr. Biate, in my humble opinion, even if you have to do some internal reorganization, each of the artists should receive a prize. You can do the impossible in such a way that all the artists should receive a prize. As I said, it's just a matter of trying to do the first, second, third, fourth. Any of them would have been first. And all of them are first, in my view. So all of them should have a prize. But because it's a prize award ceremony, following its classical presentation, there will be first, second, and third. So what is the? You are hiding the result. How to hide it? The Constitutional Council should have
This one that the result I've been hearing from the team.
It's terrible. And we made a mistake. You know that we made a mistake. Our comments should have come after we have given them, after each presenter, we have given them 1 minute to tally their score, the individual scores, before we made our observations. Because I'm sure some people went back to the drawing board on the basis of what X or Y said, and they were trying to. Anyway, this is the first time, isn't it? Yeah. Next time we'll perfectionize and we'll do it better. But before, I think because I'm not going to do the remarks before, I just want to thank for the tackle immensely for this support from his department and from his faculty. We want to thank the Dean of the Faculty of Arts, who is here represented by yourself, because of your specialty and your team that you brought together to come and showcase and enhance this partnership we have in college in realizing the African Week roots in a more integrated Africa. Thank you immensely. It's our policy of integration amongst us within the university, not only amongst us within the faculty, but amongst us within the university. We are using this as T-Hall because they are one of our greatest partners as well. So each time we table an application to use their hall, we have never received a negative response. So I want this hall or this assembly to give an ovation to both the authorities of ASTI and the authorities of Faculty of Arts. Thank you. So the first, I've been assigned to award the first prize, right? And limit myself to that, not to read the results. The first prize, in fact, I'm jealous because let me not talk some arm robbers start regretting their. I'm just advising those who take their prize. Please don't have conversations with people after this. Just take the nearest taxi, just find, don't even discover. People ask you, don't say I don't know, I'll go and discover at home. They don't talk too much, just go you home and digest. The first prize goes to Mr. Divine. How do you say indisputable or indisputable?
Indisputable.
Indisputable.
Indisputable. Indisputable.
Let me hear from my colleague. Indisputable. Thank you so much. You know something? But I've read the marks now. The amount. No, I don't want to read the amount. The guys should just go home and digest. Because you may cause people to be asking them for things that they cannot give. It is their effort. Just know that the amount is reasonably sufficient. I will not announce. Personally, I will not announce. People will be disturbing them, give me a drink at Molingo and so on. So let him, it is his art. Let him take his art and go. And the art is represented here. Congratulations, Mr. Divine. It's more like an artist, isn't it? If you look at it physically, it's more like an artist. When you look at his hair, when I got this hall, I just said this should be an artist. I've never seen him before, but he should be an artist. And I was not. Congratulations. And this is your prize. Okay. Correct.
Thank you, Professor. The next prize, which is the second prize, handed to the awardee by the prize team. Session conclusion, Professor Sonny.
Woman, woman, the last day is around the corner. And I'm happy to know that it's a woman who has won the second prize. Where is Madam King? Wow! Wow.
Thank you, Professor. The next prize will be handed by Vice Dean, Dr. Lekunze Benbulu.
The third prize goes to our lovely child of the Department of English Law. We are very, very proud of that.
English law,
And she scores 6.8. 7. Well, it's 7 on here. So I'm inviting Ms. Chidi to come forward. Congratulations.
That's great. Superb.
And fourth prize. Yes, the fourth prize, I've just been told that the fourth prize is what the team said that all the participants should be awarded. The third prize, so the fourth prize goes to Mr. Epa, which will be given by the head of the department for performing visual art.
Here, he has a score of 6.3. Participation prize, I want to encourage you. Now great mindsets, technological mindsets. I think you can really fit the comic strip or cartoon industry.
Perfect. Yeah.
The fifth prize will be handed by Dr. John Alama from the Department of Political Science and Comparative Politics. It goes to Madame Virginia.
She has a score of 6.16. Congratulations, madam. Like the team said, everybody is the first. So keep the spirit.
Thank you very much, professors. We have moved to the last item on the agenda, which is the closing remark for Vice Dean Professor Sonia Bejen, in charge of research at Corporation of Faculty of Laws and Political Science. Professor.
Once more, good afternoon. I want to use this opportunity to thank everybody for attending this great event. As I earlier said, this is the first time that we are organizing an event of this magnitude. I've never had an African Week celebration in this university. But with the collaboration that we have with the African Leadership Center, from henceforth, we are going to organize it and to be well organized, and the ceremony will be greater than what we have today. Thank you people very much. I'm not sure anyone who came here will regret being here. We have learned a lot. Most of us who did not understand the meaning of integrated Africa. But from the painting and ceramic artwork, we have learned a lot. We have now understood what African values or African ideas are all about. We heard of partnership. We started it from our own university. People have seen how we have partnered with the Faculty of Arts, Faculty of Arts, and we are having a great show today. So I'm calling on all staff and students of the university, because partnering with African Leadership Center is not only for Faculty of Laws and Political Science, it's for the entire university. You should know that you have a lot of opportunities to tap from this partnership that we have with the African Leadership Center. If you want to know more, come to our departments. We have so many opportunities. You have heard how students who are carrying out research work have gained scholarship, which help them to facilitate their research work. Teachers are free to go there to have exchange programs. Some lecturers left their universities and then they came and taught here for about 6 months. So you know that we have a lot of things that we don't know. So this event is like an eye-opener for us to know that we are not only limited to Buea. We have so many things to tap from other universities. Once more, we should thank everybody. And next year, I know we'll have a bigger and greater show than what we have today. Thank you all. Thank you.